Donald Trump has scored a record-setting win in the Iowa caucuses, with his rivals languishing far behind. Today is Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, and this is the Dunkley Report. Donald Trump has scored a record-setting win in the Iowa caucuses, with his rivals languishing far behind. Trump's victory sends a resounding message that the GOP's 2024 presidential nomination is his to lose. He is on track to smash the record for a contested Iowa Republican caucus, with a margin of victory exceeding the nearly 13 percentage points that Bob Dole won by in 1988. Florida Gov. Ron DeSantis finished second over former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. Caucus voters endured a life-threatening cold and dangerous driving conditions to meet in hundreds of schools, churches, and community centers across the state. When the dust settles from the first-in-the-nation Iowa caucuses, the returns will reveal who had Republican caucus-goers vote. But the results from Monday won't shed much light on the types of people who voted, or what was on their minds as they cast their ballots. That's where AP Votecast comes in. AP Votecast was launched in 2018 and is a comprehensive survey that tells the story behind the election results. It's a detailed snapshot of the American electorate that helps explain who voted, who didn't vote, what issues they care about, how they feel about the candidates, and why they voted the way they did. It's another day of brutally cold temperatures and dangerous wind chills across much of the United States. Monday promised to deliver the coldest temperatures ever for Iowa's presidential nominating contest and hold up air travelers yet again. It will also test the mettle of NFL fans in Buffalo for a playoff game that was delayed a day by wind-whipped snow. The National Weather Service says about 150 million Americans are under a wind chill warning or advisory for dangerous cold and wind as an Arctic air mass spills south and eastward across the U.S. Houthi rebels have fired a missile, striking a U.S.-owned ship just off the coast of Yemen in the Gulf of Aden. Monday's attack on the Gibraltar Eagle came less than a day after Yemen's Houthi rebels fired an anti-ship cruise missile toward an American destroyer in the Red Sea. The Houthis later claimed the attack that further escalated tensions gripping the region after American-led strikes on the rebels. The rebel group's attacks have roiled global shipping amid Israel's war with Hamas in the Gaza Strip, as they target a crucial corridor linking Asian and Mideast energy and cargo shipments to the Suez Canal onward to Europe. The heads of 3 major UN agencies are warning that Gaza urgently needs more aid or its desperate population will suffer widespread famine and disease. That call came Monday as authorities in the enclave reported that the death toll in the Israel-Hamas war had surpassed 24,000 people. The UN agency chiefs didn't directly point a finger at Israel, but they say that aid delivery is stifled by too few open border crossings, a slow vetting process for trucks and goods going into Gaza, as well as the continuing fighting. Israel plays a deciding factor in all of those things. Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza was sparked by the militant group's October 7th attack. The conflict has triggered a humanitarian catastrophe that has displaced most of Gaza's population of 2.3 million people. Communities across the nation have been celebrating the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday with acts of service, prayer services, and parades. But with the November presidential election as a backdrop, some events on Monday took on an overtly political turn. In Atlanta, Liz Cheney spoke at the annual commemorative service at the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, where King served as pastor. The former U.S. representative who served on the U.S. House Committee that investigated the January 6th insurrection had especially harsh words for Trump. She referred to him only as a former president and said he threatens the foundations of our nation and everything Dr. King persevered to save. Voters across the Netherlands have veered far to the right politically. The shift has been triggered by economic and cultural anxieties that have whipped up fears about immigrants. It's an extreme example of a trend being felt across the continent that could tilt the outcome of this year's European Union parliamentary election. In the quiet Dutch village of Sint Willebroord, nearly 3 out of 4 voters chose a virulently anti-migrant, anti-Muslim party in an election last year that shattered the Netherlands' image as a welcoming, moderate country. Analysts say far-right parties are primed to gain influence over EU policies affecting everything from civil rights to gender issues to immigration. Ukraine's military chief says that the Ukrainian Air Force has shot down a Russian early warning and control plane that can spot targets up to 400 miles away, and a key command center aircraft that relays information to troops on the ground. General Valery Zaluzhny didn't say on Monday how or where the aircraft were brought down, but Ukraine has received sophisticated air defense systems from its Western allies. The hits would be a significant blow for the Kremlin's forces and a landmark feat for Ukraine in the almost 2-year war. The planes are key tools in helping orchestrate Russian battlefield movements in Ukraine. There was no immediate official comment from Moscow. The Emmys are ready to celebrate a quarter-century of television history and honor the best in television, in some cases 2 seasons ago. The strike-delayed 75th Emmy Awards are airing Monday night from Peacock Theater in downtown Los Angeles, with Anthony Anderson hosting the ceremony. While the Globes honor both film and television stars, the Emmys have one job, and that's to celebrate television. This year they're planning a series of cast reunions and recreations to honor shows like The Sopranos, Cheers, and Martin. The show airs live on Fox at 8 p.m. Eastern. E! will host a red carpet show before the ceremony. President Joe Biden and the Democratic National Committee have announced raising more than $97 million in the final 3 months of last year. That haul was boosted by a star-studded December fundraising blitz that came even as the political world's attention shifted to the start of the 2024 Republican presidential primary. The Biden campaign said on Monday that it took in $235 million from its launch last April until the end of 2023 and finished the year with $117 million in cash on hand. The campaign says that's the highest total amassed by any Democratic candidate at this point in the cycle. It says 520,000 donors made 926,000 contributions in the quarter. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.